What's going on? Welcome to Life Full Circle Radio. Almost called my other show. Miguel, I'm your host. All right, so let's get into it. A lot going on. Trump is continuing to wreak havoc. Tariffs. You know, tariffs is better than taxes, supposedly, or we're not going to get taxed because of all the tariffs. I don't believe that one at all. What else? There is some stuff going on in Congress. We averted shutdown last Friday, and a lot of the progressives on the left are pissed off at Chuck Schumer. Kia, we didn't talk about that before the show started, but let's pull it up because that is important. We'll talk about that. And Slutty Vegan right here in Atlanta, Spelman College, students decided to vote him off the island, and we'll talk about why that happened. All right, make sure you check us out right there. We're only on YouTube today. I don't know what's going on. You know, Meta is wilding. So I set it to go live on Facebook, and for some reason we got booted up out of there, and I'll figure that out later. Super producer.
What's up? Hi. Welcome to the show, everybody. We are live in one place.
One place. It's all good. You know, we get it going. We've been kicking out our little clips here and there. I didn't even make it to shave it up a little bit. It's one of them days.
You tell the people where you were.
When?
Today, while we're late.
I was asleep.
Okay. It is Monday, y'all. We sleep at, it wasn't even 8 o'clock. I'm normally the late one. I'm sitting here like,
No, I'm bugging because I sit up there, you know, I got a call. I work, and then at like 6 o'clock, 6:15, I try to like chill for a hot minute because I know I'm coming here. And, you know, then 7 o'clock, 7:15 came, and next thing I know, my phone was ringing like, yo, no. So anyway, we're here. All right, we're gonna start. Let's kick this thing on off. You know, we wanted to get into let's get into this situation here. As Trump is continuing to wreak havoc and bring a sledgehammer to America, and one of the places he's going is in education. Education Department cuts half its staff as Trump vows to wind the agency down. And this is the wrestling woman's face, Vince McMahon's wife, Linda McMahon, who is the I guess she's the boss of the Department of Education, which means you just cutting everybody out. But go ahead, jump in.
Yes, she's the Secretary of Education. Mind you guys, this story is a little bit old because they've already started the process of laying these people off. So we pulled this story on Friday so we could talk about it today for our show. But yeah, these 1,300 people have already gotten their email that they no longer work for the Department of Education, and they're going to be scaling back that department. And a lot of people are worried, rightfully so, that 1,300 people is just where it's going to start. They're going to drive back the Department of Education so far where it just won't be in an agency that exists anymore. And this is one of Trump's campaign promises to pull back the Department of Education. Mind you, I don't think he knows what the Department of Education actually does. And I'm kind of torn about this. I know some people may not agree with me. I do believe the education should be in the hands of the state. The problem with that, though, is that it leaves the children in red, poor, broke states out on the limb with no education. And I don't think that's, why are you looking like that?
Because I'm looking at the bottom of my screen. I'm like, why am I seeing what I'm seeing at the bottom of my screen? Go ahead, keep going.
Oh, because my screen is the one that's being shared. Sorry.
No, that wasn't that was something weird right there. You see it. So don't worry about it. That's production issues.
Okay.
Keep going.
So that leaves the children in poor red states, your West Virginias, your Kentuckys, your Idaho, your Iowas. That leaves those kids kind of out in the limb. Those are red states, and they would be, you know, forced to handle their own education. Mind you, the education in a lot of these poor red states is subsidized by the Department of Education and blue states. So
right, everything in these poor states, all these stuff in poor states is subsidized by blue states because Kentucky don't have no money. Because it's not a whole lot of industry. So here's the thing.
The only two red states that do well by themselves are Texas and Florida. That's it.
Yeah, right. So then you have all of these other states who are voting for this trash. And so when you start talking about, you know, like a Kentucky or Mississippi or some of these other states who depend highly on the federal government, because when it's all said and done, well, what if California says, you know what, I'm not sending you all this money that we're sending that's supporting the rest of this country. We're gonna keep this stuff right here in California. And what are you guys gonna do about it? These are all the things that well, if it really comes down to it, could lead to some civil issues. Because yeah, everybody said, well, like you just said, they sound so logical. We don't need a Department of Education. The states should be able to manage their own budgets and blah 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 blah. First of all, and then I had a person try to argue me down and say that, no, it's not really going to be about private schools. The states will never go fully private. We're already halfway there. We're already on that route already. We're already going down that route. You already have
Yeah.
these private school situations, these charter school situations where they're picking and choosing who's getting the resources to make sure these students and kids can be provided for. So, when I used to hear this about the Department of Education, so they're going to end the Department of Education. First of all, I had to do my research because I assumed that the Department of Education was there forever and a day. It wasn't. It was something that was founded during the Carter administration, which means that there are people that are alive. There are people who suffered through it, and there are people who are racist rat bastards who lived through it, who thought that was a better time before the late 1970s when the Department of Education was formed. And you started having these economic standards that to make sure that everyone was provided for when it came down to their education. So now all of this stuff is being blown up. The whole, we report this stuff every week,
Yeah.
and it's all what it's Department of Education. It's so many different areas. You got Parks and Recs. You got say what? Go ahead.
The USA Department, the Department of Education,
USAID and all of this.
Treasury.
Yeah. We got to stop saying these people don't know what they're doing. They know exactly what they are doing. Does he know what Department of Education does? Yes, he does. They've been telling him for years. This is why he's dismantling it. This is why we keep hearing all this garbage about putting his money. They've been saying that for forever. And now they're really executing on all of this trash. And now we got to figure out how far will this go. And so you got this situation. You got the tariff situation where, you got Canadians that sending the booze from America back to America. So here, take this. We don't want it. So you warring with Canada. You're talking about taking over Greenland. It's wild. This is
So let's talk about these tariffs, because these tariffs are now threatening to basically shut down the United States. And I know there's always a looming threat of the government shutdown because of bills or whatever. It's always a looming threat. No one is new to the government shutdown and extending it. The
mhm.
problem is now the threat is more real than it's ever been, because I'm trying to figure out how to put this the right way. The threat's never been real. It's always been like, you have to sign this
It's
paperwork
always been
because
threats. Now they're doing it.
yeah, now it's a real thing where he could shut it down. And we have other countries who are basically giving us the middle finger, who's like, yeah, you want to raise tariffs? We're cool with that. We don't really need you for a whole bunch. And a lot of people are saying, oh no, these other countries need us more than we need them. I'm like, I don't really think that's the case a lot of the time. I really don't.
Yeah,
Some cases, yes. Some
we
cases they do, but like Canada
yeah.
doesn't really need us. They don't. They
Well,
do
we all
not
need
really.
each other. There's no we don't need them,
Sure,
they
that's
don't need
adorable.
us. We're on the same continent over here, right? And so, worst case scenario, if Russia, which, we never really taught the right geography of it, if Russia were to invade Canada from the north, which it isn't that far. If people remember, Alaska was actually sold to us by Russia, right? So it was actually used to be Russia. And so we always just told it's the West and the East and blah 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 blah. It's a globe. And there's parts of Russia that are north of us and north of Canada, right? So if Canada all of a sudden says, you know what, we're not friends. I really don't want to deal with you Americans, but we're on the same continent, and that's what makes it just like Canada is like that brother, that sister. We can't stand each other, but when it comes down to it, we got to fight with each other, and we don't want. But that's where we are, and
No,
now
that's where we are.
that's where we are. So something else, the tariff piece is something else. We were talking about education piece. We've talked about that. Um,
No,
it's
well, let me just
wild.
say the tariffs are really starting to hit home for a lot of people, and they really hit home for me and my household in a way
Hmm.
that I don't think we really expected. So, my husband works for a very large construction company, very large. They
Hmm.
have multiple locations across the United States, and since there's so many locations, what the CEO does is he has these two large events in every like region, so that
Hmm.
everybody can come and mingle together. And he always has them at a giant amusement park. He pays for all the food. He covers everything. It's a huge family fun event. Me and my
Hmm.
husband took all three of our kids last year. It was awesome. Well, this year's the first year they're not doing it, and his email strictly says because of the tariffs that are happening, we cannot risk doing, several $1 million events because we're trying to make sure we don't have to lay anybody off. That's really their main concern. We will get rid of all of these employee happiness things and all of that because we don't want to have to lay off employees. And that's a really scary part to be in, where they're like, okay, we're cutting back this. And it makes me wonder, what's the next thing to be cut off? Is it layoffs next? Is it strategic firing? Is it just what they call strategic retiring of older people? Like, what's next to manage the tariffs?
We don't know. We don't know. We don't know how far this will go. We don't know how far he will take this. I was in the grocery store yesterday morning. My family was in town from AZ, and I said to myself, "Oh, it was early in the morning." Trey did a wonderful thing yesterday with her nonprofit, and they did an event with some women, and so that was pretty dope. But so I was up early on a Sunday, and I'll go in the grocery store, and there were no lie here. There were 6 dozens of eggs in that whole grocery store at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And I grabbed 1 dozen, and I said, "I'm gonna get 2." Because I was like, who knows when I'm gonna see eggs again? And they were $7 a dozen.
Normally it says 1 per person.
Huh?
Was there a sign?
No, there was no sign. There was no sign. It was the inner liberal in me that says, man, I don't want to take all these eggs. Somebody else might. And then I said, I'm just gonna take 2. But I joke about it.
Republican says I can only get 1 when I go 1 time. They don't say nothing about me coming every other day to buy a new thing of eggs to keep in my refrigerator.
But that's just it. The thing about it is that the last few times I've gone to the grocery store to go look for eggs, and there was none there. And that's true. I'm talking about every time. So I'm just like, man, I just need to grab me a couple dozen eggs. So, this week, if I want to, cook my breakfast or whatever. And there's so many distractions that are going on in our world. So many distractions is going on, and we sit back and we don't understand how bad it is right now. It is truly, truly not good what we're dealing with. And I don't know how far this guy's gonna take it. I don't think any of us know.
Yeah, and I think it's truly not good because we've never been in a situation like this. No one's ever been in a situation like this in our lifetime. Yes, people lived through World War II where there was a lot of uncertainty. That was many years ago at this point. So we are in a brand new era where people are really confused about, we're not at war, but our president is making really weird decisions that put us in unsafe situations. How are we supposed to handle this? How do we talk about this? How do we deal with this? Like, what do we do? What's the next step? How do we plan for this is really what everybody's thought is. How do we plan for this properly?
It's crazy because I'm gonna play something for you real quick because when I saw Keith Boykins post this, I was just like, bro, you're scaring the crap out of me. And so, but he does a really good job of this stuff. So take a listen to this.
Look back at history and note that this was the week when democracy ended. In 1 week in March 2025, MAGA infiltrators breached the guardrails of the Constitution and found no viable resistance. Congress ceded its Article 1 authority to an unelected South African billionaire and gave him unprecedented powers to dismantle the U.S. government. The State Department expelled South Africa's ambassador to the United States for criticizing that billionaire. The Department of Homeland Security began searching college dorm rooms. Immigration and Customs Enforcement arrested a lawful U.S. resident, flew him from New York to Louisiana, deprived him of his constitutional right to counsel, never charged him with the crime, and plans to send him to another country. The Customs and Border Protection Agency deported a lawful U.S. citizen, a 10-year-old girl recovering from brain cancer, and sent her to Mexico. The Department of Education began investigating universities that allowed free speech, of which the president disapproved, under the guise of rooting out anti-Semitism. While the unelected South African billionaire posted an anti-Semitic message denying the Holocaust to his 219 million followers, not only was he not investigated or deported, he was allowed to sell his cars on the White House lawn after his company's stock price collapsed. The independence of the Justice Department was indelibly corrupted when the convicted felon president visited its office and told the lawyers there that his political enemies should be prosecuted. The new director of what was once an independent FBI asked for a private security team and a personal hotline to the president. The U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia was exposed for claiming that Mexican-looking people were likely illegal. The U.S. pardon attorney was fired after refusing to recommend the restoration of gun rights for Trump-supporting actor Mel Gibson. The White House vowed to ignore a court order requiring the administration to reinstate recently fired federal workers. The Defense Department removed information on Black, Hispanic, and female veterans.
God's sakes. And this was all last week, and it's still going. He's still going.
Now, here's this. I know he's still going, and I have a big, huge issue with Trump violating the Hatch Act. I have never seen a president violate the Hatch Act more than Trump did by having Teslas on the White House lawn where he bought one. That is illegal. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now they're trying to say, oh no, you just can't do that if you're in the Oval Office. I'm like, no, that wasn't the rules previously. It was anything selling at the White House or anything that looked like it was selling on the body of the president of the United States. It hasn't that always been how it was, Miguel?
Yeah, but he's basically saying F y'all. And when it comes down to it, his response is always, we'll see you in court. And he's going to put it before the Supreme Court. And will the Supreme Court have what it takes to sit up and say?
Here's a new thing. I don't know if you know this, and maybe it's because I run in Republican circles, which is this is really disturbing. Apparently the Supreme Court has been pushing back on him, and now people on social media are saying that the Supreme Court judges, even especially the Republican ones, are activist judges who are part of the cabal. That's what they're saying on social media. Because the Supreme Court justices are pushing back, specifically the Republican ones, they're part of the cabal. They're activist judges. They're rhinos. Oh, Trump gave them everything, and now they're trying to give them. They must be a part of being paid by Soros. That's what they're saying about Supreme Court justices. Just because these people are now like, so it's getting a little crazy, and you can't really do this, so we're just going to quietly tell you, you can't do this. And
FAFO. This is what folks ask for. They thought he wouldn't go this far, and he is. At this point, he feels like his power is unchecked. And then the question that people are coming up with now is that if it gets all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court says, Donald Trump, you can't do that, and he still does it, then what? Because part of his strategy is that, let's just say, for example, I work for the federal government. I got a job with the federal government, and you let me go. Elon Musk says you're out of a job, and it takes 6 months for it to go through the court system, and for them to come out and say, "Oh, by the way, no, that was illegal. He can't fire you." Like, what do you think I did for the last 6 months? If I didn't stack cash to know that I could sit and not get a check for 6 months, I done found another job.
Yeah,
and at minimum, if they get 20% of the people to 30% of the people to get out of, they've won. They achieved what they were looking to achieve, which is getting less people. Because once the jobs are eliminated, they're not going to fill those jobs back. They're just going to eliminate the position.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And so if you find people, they say, well, just go get a private sector job. If you, there are certain type, let's just say that you spent your entire career as a park ranger, and that's what you do. What other park ranger job are you going to go get? Are you most of them are owned by the land is owned by the federal government. So you're what you've spent your career doing, now just go find something else to do.
And we talked about that last week about, a lot of these jobs that are getting rid of, a lot of these people can't just go get another job. Like if you work at the USAID department and your specific job is liaison between a country and it's refugees or something specific like that, where are you supposed to go? Like it's just like a very specific job.
Right.
So
right.
I'm concerned. I try to just focus on what I can make sure I'm good as a mom and a wife and in my household. Not saying that I'm like some weird isolationist, but at this point, I have to make sure the Shakur life vest is on first before I'm like, okay, now I can go be an activist for other people, because everybody's confused.
Yeah.
Nobody knows where it's going.
Yeah.
Nobody, if they're saying the Supreme Court justices who, or some of them who are the most conservative we've ever seen, are now liberal cabal getting paid off Soros judges, then is there hope for anybody to actually be able to stand up to this administration? We have that ghoul Stephen Miller now. Everybody's saying, "Oh, he really took it to CNN. He's so smart." When he brought up about kicking out the ambassador to South Africa and these deportation orders. These deportation orders are insane. Like he's also getting rid of people who are here for asylum from Venezuela, from Haiti. Haiti is not a good country right now. They have had a president who was assassinated. So it's not like a safe place to be.
It's all chaos. You got the situation now where even Trump is now trying to sit up here and say that the pardons that Biden did were he's voiding Biden's pardons void due to auto pen. So supposedly now all the people who you didn't see that story.
Well, wait. No, I know he did that, but what does auto pen mean? I know he
Basically,
was doing
it basically is that he didn't sign all 1,500 pardons himself with his own hands, and so that is the means in which he's going to try to avoid these pardons.
Who the hell cares?
You mean who the hell cares? The people who have been pardoned, who now Trump is going to say this is a reason why I can come back after you, Liz Cheney.
No, what I'm saying is, who the hell cares if it's auto pen or not? We all know
Right.
that there are certain these pardons that Biden gave. We knew that, like the Liz Cheney one, we knew he gave the Liz Cheney one. He may not have signed it, whatever, but he knew like, come on now. This is getting to be the point where he's just it.
And I'm pretty sure he didn't sign all 1,500 or more of the January 6th people he pardoned himself, all 1,500 signatures either. It was a blanket.
There's no way.
It was a blanket pardon that he did. Now here's what might have happened. He may have signed his as a blanket pardon. Everybody who was in his case January 6th, boom, 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 one signature. Biden and the Democrats might have done it the right way and says, these are individual pardons, so we're going to pardon them individually. And but he's not going to sign them. Everybody uses auto pen. It's understood. There are no Trump has challenged all the norms, and he's going to find new norms to challenge and take it right back to court.
This is the problem that a lot of people are having, and we can talk about the town hall meetings next. He does not respect the office of the presidency. He doesn't. And he's the only president to not respect the office of the presidency. Nixon was a whole jackass out here with what he did, but he still respected the office of the presidency. Even with the mistake he made, he still respected it. Everybody has always respected the office.
That's why he resigned. That's why he resigned, because it wasn't worth going through the trouble. But Trump really feels like he has such a pulse on what the people want because the way that they respond to him, that he feels like he can get away with it.
But now
if he can get away with it, he doesn't have to respect it, huh?
But now the people don't want it. 89% of Americans are now concerned about tariffs. 75% of Americans are concerned about Elon Musk's role in the United States government. You can go to these town halls, and we can talk about it again. Another veteran, multiple veterans being kicked out of these town halls, dragged out by police officers. These aren't liberal white men. These are Republican white men being dragged out of these town halls, yelling, kicking, and screaming, basically giving a middle finger to their congressman, to their senator, to their representative, because what are you doing? You fired my wife from her job for zero reason, like for no reason. Becky Ann ain't got no job no more, and you're not explaining to me why Becky Ann ain't got no job.
Headlines like this: GOP congressman tells his constituents they don't know how to listen. At this point,
what are they supposed to listen to? You lie to them again? Like what?
But that's just it. These people feel like they're not serving the people. They're not serving the people. They're serving Donald Trump. And really there's not a whole lot of anything right now that we can do about it. That's the part that people need to understand.
I think we're and we have Democratic senators who are also trying to hold town halls about Medicaid. And let me tell you, they ain't doing no better than the Republicans. They're not. The Democratic town halls are not as loud and boisterous, but you do get a lot of rolled eyes and people standing up saying, y'all some punks. Y'all are just some punks. Y'all stand for nothing. What are we here for if y'all aren't going to do anything for us?
We're
Y'all
not gonna
are
do
whack.
about this both sidisms with this. This ain't no both sidesisms.
It is. It's
No,
all lives matter.
this ain't no both sidism with this thing. You know, we know who's raising but you know, even with the situation with Chuck Schumer and him doing what he did over the weekend, and there was let me see if I can find it. I don't know. No, it's too much language with that with who I'm thinking about. But you know, there's so much chaos that is going on right now, and this is what it is. All right, let's move on because we can stay on this forever, and I don't feel like it.
Can
Let's
we
move on.
talk about a subject that's going to make your head hurt, but
Sure, why
you're going to
not?
try
I'm
to get
already
through it?
sure. Why not? What's the next thing that's gonna make my head hurt?
Go ahead and bring my screen up. This one right here is Representative Sarah McBride. She's a Democrat from Delaware, and she has been dealing with a lot. I don't think we talked about this last week, but I definitely want to bring it up again because she's the only adult in the room. She was misgendered at what was this event? Okay, yeah. So here's what happened. Representative Keith Self, R from Texas, referred to her as Mr. McBride during a congressional hearing earlier this week, sparking a confrontation between Self, the representative from Texas, and Representative Bill Keating, the Democrat from Massachusetts, over the issue. Other GOP lawmakers have
And
targeted
you didn't
McBride's
mention for people
identity.
who don't know who Sarah McBride is. She's trans.
Yes, she is trans. She is
Mm.
male to female trans. She transitioned in 2014. This is not a
Mm.
recent transgender person. She's been
Mm.
transgender for a while.
Yeah.
She was married. Her husband passed away. She was
Mm.
duly elected in the state of Delaware. But here's why I will always ride or die for Sarah McBride. She has never gone after any of these people and said, "I can't believe they're hurting me," and this and that. You know what she said? I was elected by the people of Delaware to do a job. And I'm going to
Right.
do my job. You want
Right.
to call me a man? Cool. You want me to use a men's bathroom? Fine. I'll use the bathroom at home. I don't care. I am here to do the job I was voted for. I feel like Sam McBride is the only adult in the room, the only one.
Well, you know, yeah, I'm not gonna all the disrespect, and you know, you did that purposely. You know, nothing about that about the woman looks like you did it purposely. You did it to make a scene, right? And yeah, so we got work to do. You know, folks are worrying about Jasmine Crockett doing TikTok videos and all of this, and it's because the attention that people are trying to go after. I had in a meeting last week I was in. Jason Estevez, who's a lawmaker here in Georgia. They're trying to bring the DC nonsense to the Georgia State House. Same situation. It's like it's this storm. We just got to ride this thing out. And I don't know, you know, just like you get all these storms and the weather people take over the everything you're watching and turn because they're gonna talk about the storm. This is what's going on. This is a storm that I don't know where it ends. I don't know how far these people are gonna take this nonsense on every level. You know, I don't know if you're having how things are going in your community in Florida, um, in local politics. Are you paying attention to that? What's
I
going on
am.
there?
It's pretty weird. I know that for a fact. So my tax lady is running for mayor, which I'm fine with because I love my tax lady. But as far as how white people are reacting, there used to be signs for Trump all over the place. They are now few and far between. People have taken them down. People don't want to be associated with Trump. The Republican Party here is the meetings are very, very thin because I watched them sometime on live stream. They're very, very thin. People are embarrassed to be a Republican. I am embarrassed to call myself a Republican. I am. I will say it on the show because this is I'm not gonna lie on the show, and
Right,
Miguel already knows, and most of our viewers who are loyal to us know.
right.
But would I openly go to a Republican meeting? I wouldn't. And recently, that's what I wanted to talk about. I don't know if this is a how what or if it's talk about it now. But Don Lemon actually did an interview recently where he said that no self-respecting Black person should be a MAGA supporter at this time. And I posted on Twitter, he's right. it's one thing to be a black Republican. I feel like you can be a black Republican. There's a lot of Christian people who are black Republicans. It's a whole other thing to be MAGA. Being a MAGA
Is
Republican
it?
fights against your.
Is it?
You want me to drive to McDonough and set your house on fire, don't you?
No, I'm serious. Like at this point, it wasn't just MAGAs who voted in Donald Trump. There were well-meaning Republicans who voted for Donald Trump. And so he is the leader of the party that you are trying to distance yourself from. Right?
Yeah.
So I get it.
And what Don Lemon actually said was that rational. Wait, really quick, so you can hear this whole quote. Don
Okay.
Lemon said that rational black MAGA supporters do not exist.
Rational black MAGA supporters do not exist. Okay. It's an opinion, and I hear his opinion, and I respect. Is it on your screen? You know.
I just brought it down because
Okay.
it's making my screen is jumpy, so
Yeah,
I had to
yeah.
take it down.
So and I get all of that. All of this stuff is what we call in sports Monday morning quarterbacking. Yeah, all these people want to come out, and all of a sudden now they want to. Oh, I can't believe how bad. Why can't you believe? Like, it's crazy with Trump. As much of a lying rat bastard as he can be, he told us all of this. He told us that we
I
just didn't
know,
believe that he was going to go this far. In the first
yeah,
6 weeks of his second presidency, he was going to tear up he was going to fire hundreds of thousands of people. He was, and I've even read now he's telling, part of his talking points is, oh, we're going to make up all the money we're not going to make you pay income tax because we're going to make up the money in tariffs. What failed third grade math teacher tells you that and you believe it?
it's annoying the fact that he still doesn't understand how tariffs work.
He knows how
Does that
tariffs work. He knows.
then okay, so he knows how tariffs work. And he doesn't give a damn about his own constituents who voted him in because
No, he does.
that's
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about Donald Trump. And I didn't believe that he could be this crazy, or the people who is his supporters. I really believe they feel like if they blow all this shit up, that they'll pick up the pieces once it's done. If all of a sudden something happens to the Lloyds and this house is now on the market, one of the people that will be competing for it will be real estate magnates that in the corporate space that are trying to buy up, which they're already at 30% of all real estate on the market is being purchased by corporations. 30%.
no, yeah. Then that's
This, you know what I mean? So when you talking about AI of Gaza and making Gaza, a waterfront property, how dare you go that route?
what's really scary about what you said is that this is how every AI thriller or terror or horror movie all started. Everyone. This is how Terminator started. This is how I Am Legend started. This is how The Matrix started. It's always some one person who's trying to change everything. Everybody's scared. Oh, it's not gonna get that bad. It'll be fine. The one term I hate. It'll correct itself. Whatever the hell that means. And now we're living in some dystopian future. I feel like this is the closest we ever got to living in a dystopian future. And I know people are gonna be like,
Right.
"Oh, you guys are Trump is racist."
People think all this the lifestyle that we have now, there wasn't bloodshed for us to live the lives that we live right now. There was a revolution in this country. There was a civil war in this country. There have been people who've died and got hung by trees, and there's been economic slavery in this country, and you got all of that stuff has been happening and is still happening. And we live in these, like you said, in these little bubbles, like this stuff. Ooh, it could never get that bad. And we're talking about Donald Trump, who you think he doesn't think about the Terminator and the Matrix and all of these movies. He's a media guy. Everything to him is a television show, and he feels like he is so insulated from all of this because of his resources. And now he's at the table with world leaders. Hey, man, if we got to fight in Civil War, when it's all said and done, we won't fight forever. Eventually, it'll clear itself up, and then all of a sudden, it'll be a bunch of land that needs to be rebuilt. He already talked about Gaza, rebuilding Gaza. We know what's going on in Gaza, and his thought pattern is that it's a real estate deal that they're getting ready to work out.
Yeah. No.
Right.
No. I honestly, that video that he posted was probably the most disturbing thing most people have ever seen. where he thought he's just going to do that whole, land deal. It'll be fine. We'll rebuild Gaza. And, because didn't he try to do that with 9/11? Didn't he try to come in and rebuild something then?
I wouldn't be
And New
surprised.
York was like, no.
I wouldn't be surprised. There's history around this clown that we've forgotten because nobody took him seriously before that press dinner where Obama embarrassed him from the stage.
Well,
in
all of them
2011.
embarrassed him. It was Obama and it was Seth Meyers.
Whoever it
Obama
was.
and Seth Meyers, yeah.
But it was fun. Ha. It was funny, ha at the time. Everybody else laughing and pointing, and Donald Trump in that moment said, "Okay, I'll show you." Yeah, and here we are. So,
And to all the Trump supporters who watch, who are losing your jobs and showing up to these town hall meetings, and we're calling everybody snowflakes, and we're saying people were paid protesters, and this and that, we have zero sympathy for you. Don't ask us to support your GoFundMe because you're about to lose your house. Don't ask me to buy one of your products when you have to switch over to working at an MLM. Don't ask me to tip you extra when you're out here working at the Longhorn. No. I'm sorry you're in this situation, but I don't care. I don't care. I'm not going to help you. Omar's coworkers, they're starting to feel it and scramble and whatever and ask Omar questions. And Omar's basically like, get away. I don't know. No, thank you. Bye. Like, I can't help you. Goodbye. Have a nice time. Like, what are we supposed to say to you? We try to tell you. So.
Right. Just switching gears, and it's yes and no, because there's a video I want to pull up. But I said, why do I connect you with Angela Benton? Did you at one time work with Angela Benton?
The MAGA supporter Angela?
No. For some reason, there's somebody that was like a black entrepreneur in tech and something that I thought you had an issue with back in the day. I could be.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I know who you're talking about. That was wow. In fact, you remember that was a really long time ago. She got me fired from a job a really long time ago.
Her? Hold on. Where we at? Here we go. Boom.
If it's the same Angela I'm thinking
was it her?
Yeah, she got me fired from a job. Yeah.
That's funny. Well, yeah. Okay.
Like, said god awful things about me. Like, I was the worst employee they've ever had. I was so immature. I was awful. I was going to bring down the lobbying firm, the whole thing. What is that whore doing now? Excuse me. What is she doing now?
Oh, Jesus, Mary and Joseph. All right. Boom.
Department actually using AI to scan public social media accounts.
What brand is it? What company is this for?
Just a little bit concerned about this.
And by making concessions to this right-wing agenda, they're only laying the groundwork for further repression, and it's not going to stop at Palestine. And we have very good reason to believe it won't stop at green card holders. If they're targeting undocumented immigrants, if they're targeting student visas, if they're targeting green card holders and legal residents, what's to stop them from targeting citizens next?
So this is important because this actually marks the first time that the U.S. has actually evolved from using AI for doing simple things like processing paperwork or taxes or any other kind of benefits that we all have to actually using AI to surveil dissent.
Yeah. So we're gonna ignore y'all's past relationship or whatever.
No, fuck her. Just so you know, it'll be fuck her for life, and I mean that for real. What she did to me at that other company was not cool. Like, I would never.
I don't doubt it.
That led to like real like career employee trauma that I had that I actually like struggled with for a really, really long time. So this whole thing about her being so empowering for Black women and all that kind of crap, it's bullshit. She will run you over. She'll do whatever she has to take to be successful. If she needs to, if part of the job to be successful was sleeping with your husband, she would do it. Like, that's the type of chick she is. So we can change the subject. Do not bring her up.
The subject that she was talking about, we're talking about not because of her, but the point she brought up is that the State Department is now using social media to surveil people who are dissenting from what, so like the situation with the young man at Columbia, I believe it's Columbia, that's now down in Louisiana, having been because he was pro-Palestine. And so the point is that, do we have free speech or not?
No, we do not have free speech. We don't. We don't. We don't have free speech.
Mm-hmm.
We And it's not even, we don't have free speech where they're now just going to be deleting your profile on social media. That kid from Colombia, and he wasn't the only kid. There was another young woman who also was going to be questioned by ICE or whatever. She used the app to self-deport so that she didn't have to deal with it and went home. So it's a very, very weird, crazy time. We don't have free
we're in
speech.
wild times, man. We are truly in wild times where they snatched this guy up, man. Snatched him up, and I want to say he's got a wife and a kid on the way.
Yes, he has a wife, and then I think his wife, when he got arrested, his wife was 8 months pregnant. So, excuse me, she could be giving birth at any point, any day now.
It's heartless, man, and they go back to the easy way to criminalize anybody is to say you're anti-American or you're anti this or you. And I just all right.
What I
All
hate
right.
the most about the anti-American sentiment
Yeah.
is that it's surrounding Semitism and saying that if you are pro-Palestine, you're automatically supporting Hamas.
Right.
And you and I both know these two things are not the same.
Well,
They're not.
but we mentally we live in a binary culture. You know what I mean? Because what used to bother me growing up? It used to bother me growing up that we used to always talk about everything as black people and white people. And I said to myself, well, what about the Asians? What about and this was 40, 50 years ago when I was a kid, right? It didn't make sense to me that everything was always binary. But that's a good mentally that it's a trap. That it's either you're blue or red. You're either Republican or Democrat. You're either Cowboys fan or you're Commanders fan. You know what I mean? You're either Lakers fan or Celtics fan. You can't be just I love basketball. I don't give a damn about who, if it's a good game, whatever. We don't live in that type of culture. Everything is so binary in our thought. And so this situation, do I support Hamas? Hell no. But do I support this man's right to dissent and to protest in America? Because if he can't do that, then then where are we? We're at a point where Donald Trump is suing 60 freaking minutes. 60 minutes.
Yeah.
CBS,
Well,
ABC.
won against ABC. He won against George Stephanopoulos, so why not sue 60 Minutes after you won against George Stephanopoulos and ABC News?
It's wild. So when you think about it, if our broadcast channels are afraid to report, if one of our biggest social media platforms is owned by his partner in this whole thing in Twitter, if Mark Zuckerberg is afraid, and I'm getting spammed every day, all day with random accounts on Facebook, like how the hell this shit get on my feed? So if Mark Zuckerberg is playing ball with him, black people are crapping on platforms like Fanbase, so people aren't moving over there. So where are we going to get information from that we can trust to really make informed decisions? And so when you look at,
I don't know.
Right, we don't know. We look at this thing and we say, we got to, like you said earlier, you got to worry about the Shakurs. I got to worry about the Lloyds and any and everybody that I serve in the communities that I serve. And we have got to build up enough resources and do it in such a way that is under the radar as much as possible to just mind our business and keep it moving until this little boat that we're on kind of sways itself. All right, I need to switch gears.
Well, I have go ahead and go how what. I got my fun how what that I know you're gonna like. It covers everything.
All right, and so am I going to your screen right after how what? Or are you just pitching to? All right, hold on. Let me.
Wait, do I have a good picture for it? Oh,
And
don't go to my screen.
This for this segment for people just first time watching the show. These are the type of stories that make you go, "What?" No, yes, it's true. All right, so what you got? What's going on?
The first story?
Huh?
France wants the Statue of Liberty back. They want their statue back. They're basically saying it no longer represents the values that we gave it to y'all on, so you need to give it back. Now, if that's not the funniest thing in politics and real life I've ever heard, for them to be like, yeah, so we gave it to you guys under specific guise, and now y'all are tripping, so we have to give it back.
Oh
White House press says the Secretary of Course is absolutely not, and I don't think France is going to come and get it back, but them wanting it back symbolizes something kind of funny, where it's like, Y'all are
That's
whack
that's a
now.
whole different story. That's a
We
whole
did.
story about the history of the Statue of Liberty and the chains and what was supposed to be in her left hand and all of that. There's a lot of stories around that. Excuse me.
So the Statue of Liberty actually has something very important engraved in it that we are not following right now, and we haven't followed for a very long time. And what's engraved in the Statue of Liberty says, goodness. No, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free, the wretched refuse, your teeming shore, and then the let my light shine to open your golden door. That's why the Statue of Liberty holds a light. It's not because it just looks cute in her hand. It's because it's to show a light over that space of water when people are crossing over from Europe to here, so they can get a guiding light to know this is where you are supposed to be. This is your safe place of refuge. The Statue of Liberty has a real meaning. And we are no longer, and have not for a very long time, represented what that poem and what the actual Statue of Liberty means.
We gotta stop. And yes, I agree with you, but our lawmakers and the people have to say enough. This is not who we are, and we'll see if that happens. All right. Coming out of anything else on Hunt What before I pull down Hunt What?
Yeah. DDG got to see Halo after he has bullied his ex.
That child's name is Halo?
Isn't it? Yeah, baby Halo. His name is Halo. They're ignorant children. Of course they named the baby Halo.
Jesus,
like,
Joseph.
What do we think is baby?
I got a Hunt What for you yeah. So did you see the story about the girl in Virginia? She actually is in where she hit the girl with the why is it not? Hold on.
Yes, please bring that video up. That girl is so, I feel so bad for that girl because her lies are just so bad. Like the lie is just here we go.
You're physically hurt, but you're not thinking of my mental, right? They're going off of one angle. A couple times hitting her, my baton got stuck behind her back like this, and it rolled up her back. I lost my balance, and when I pumped my arms again, she got hit. I know my intentions, and I would never hit somebody on purpose. They're assuming my character, calling me ghetto, racist slurs, death threats, all of this just because of a 9-second video. Everybody has feelings, so
This was a 4x200 meter relay race, and she and a Brookville High School athlete were rounding a curve on the track when they nearly collided with each other.
After a couple times hitting her, my baton got stuck behind her back like this, and it rolled up her back. I lost my balance, and when I pumped my arms again, she got hit.
It appears intentional, but Alayla says it was accidental.
I could feel like a headache coming up, so I just set out. But I recently went to the doctor, and they prescribed me with a concussion. And
so for people who don't know the story, as you said, you just saw a good bit of the story. And so the young lady, I've seen that video several times, and that if that was an accident, if that was an accident, and it has me thinking like, why did they still have metal batons in track? I'm not a track athlete. I never was. So I don't know if that's pretty standard stuff, but that was kind of like, so they still got, those are like weapons.
That was your first thought?
Yeah, I was like, if she hit that girl with that doggone metal baton and some of the girls said she had a concussion, I was like, oh, Jesus. And
again, as someone who ran track, it's been a minute, just like you, it's been a minute. That thing is heavy. It's a heavy piece of metal. It's not like aluminum where it's kind of light and y'all can toss it back and forth. It's kind of heavy. That girl who hit her, sweetie, I know you don't want to accept responsibility because it looks very bad on you to do so. You hit that girl in the back of the head. There is no, oh, it rolled up her back and then it got caught. And then when I pumped my arms again, if you pumped your arms again, it would have popped her in the back of the head, or it would have done a different way. Yeah. You whacked her across the head like you guys were in some horror film and you're about to drag her body into the woods. That's how you hit her in the head.
Yeah, no, that was that. And then her daddy, I saw a clip of her daddy defending her, and everybody, he mad because people are attacking his daughter. Your daughter hit that girl upside her head in a state that was like a state final or regional final. Like that was a huge deal, right? Regardless, I don't care if it was just a scrimmage. Your scrimmage track meet. You pop that girl in the back of her head.
So your niece
Craziness.
Leela is probably going to be violent like this is sports, probably basketball or volleyball or track. She's going to be hitting somebody with a baton. I can see it in my future, and I'm okay with
Oh
it.
my
But as
God.
her mother, I would have to tell her, so you did it. You just need to take responsibility for it. Don't you get out there in front of these people, camera, start crying, and just be like,
So,
I lost control and I was really angry and I shouldn't have done it. That's fine. What this girl's doing, I didn't do it, and
She
everybody's
done went.
being
She
so
done went through
mean
the
to me.
process. She done went through the process. Got her little baby hell gel down and everything. She got a little gloss on. Her little stuff she got from Timu and everything. And she up there crying. Man, stop. Stop. All right. Other story that I want to talk about before we get up out of here is this story around Slutty Vegan.
Please explain to
After
me what's
being
happening with
voted out by the
Slutty.
student union or like the student restaurant union or whatever. And some of the students, I was just reading the comments. I reached out to some of the students. They wanted to stay anonymous, so I don't want to put their name out there. But a lot of the students were saying it was limited options and it cost too much. So if you ever had Slutty Vegan, you know they're not cheap. They're not a cheap option, right? It's a premium.
Oh.
It's a premium food, but they got voted out. And I'm not sure if you ever heard of the Twisted Taco. You ever heard of Twisted Taco?
I have.
So they're being replaced. Slutty Vegan is being replaced at the HBCU Spelman by Twisted Taco. Slutty Vegan, a black-owned restaurant.
So, a couple things. I'm hearing the A. And to verify, yes, Slutty Vegan is high. But here's the
Yeah.
thing. I don't know of any vegan restaurants that the food ain't expensive.
Not one.
If you're paying for vegan food, it's higher across the board, and so it costs more. The problem I have with this whole conversation, it goes back to, once again, this binary conversation, this binary choice. Being black owned is not enough. It's part of this. No, but being expensive was the issue. And when it gets back to the conversation we've had before, the reason why Mexican restaurants win and Chinese restaurants, Asian restaurants win is because their food is cheap. They can cook it fast and it fills you up for the moment. Right. But the whole
Yeah.
Slutty Vegan conversation around, oh, she went to Clark and Spelman people don't like each other, and being black and a woman ain't enough, and all this other garbage is out here. Yes, it's expensive. And if they were using their meal cards, and here's the other thing, kid, the Slutty Vegan, the original Slutty Vegan is off campus, less than 5 minutes away. And so the kids who can really afford to have a car or who want to walk to this other Slutty
Yeah.
Vegan, they can go to Slutty Vegan. So it was a win to get it on campus, sure, but stop with this nonsense about it about being black owned. The same conversation going on with Target.
But here's my issue. And again, I'm in the catering business, and I always have the same issue when people are talking about pricing. Was the food good? Was there good customer service? Were there any complaints about those things?
Well, there's people who say, I've had Slutty Vegan. It's okay. The food is okay. It's an experience. The thing with Slutty Vegan, it is an experience. You go there and they're singing and dancing and they got the music and it's black woman owned. She's a great businesswoman, and it's a sandwich. It's a fast food sandwich with some fries. So what are you expecting? What amazing experience do you have? And if I'm a college student, do I want to spend 17 to 19 bucks for fries for a burger and fries? On a cheat day, maybe if I'm feeling good about myself, but it's not going to be every day. No, I get it. But stop making this about her being black and a black woman, and not being black is not enough. When it's all said and done, you can't go to Chick-fil-A without spending $12 on a meal, or go almost anywhere without having McDonald's. You go get a Big Mac meal and it's $11, $11 or $12. Like, stop it.
Chick-fil-A nowadays will set you back. Like you can
All
either
of
get a
them.
full tank of gas or go to Chick-fil-A.
All
You
of
can't do
them.
both.
All of them. You got to make a decision. You're either gonna eat out or you're gonna cook at the crib. And so, stop this mess being about black women. But go ahead. I see you got up.
I just think it's crazy because the menu is limited. The menu is limited anywhere. I'm on the main website in ATL. It's these
You're
six
up
sandwiches
on the
plus burgers
screen.
and
You're up on the screen. Scroll through it a little bit.
Yeah, so we're gonna start a little bit at the top. Oh, these are all their locations. She's doing quite well, so it's fine. Then there's one in Baltimore coming soon. These are the
Mhm.
sandwiches. The names are hilarious. Limited time only the big meat, which is vegan pulled bread biscuit, extras. You got lemonade, slushy, sweet potato pie, banana pudding, fries. This is a typical fast food menu as far as it being like plant-based or as far as it being like a higher end. When you think about places like your not Salt Shack, Shake Shack, their
Mhm.
menu is not super extensive. It's
Right.
in bold type,
And it's
but their
expensive.
menu is not.
And it's expensive. Shake
It's
Shack
very
or
expensive.
what's the other one? Five Guys,
Five
burgers.
Guys.
All of these places are expensive, right? There's also conversation around, it was called, one of the brilliant marketing of what it's called Slutty Vegan, right? So
Yes.
then you have that. You just had it pulled up on your screen, right? And part of her marketing, you know, eat plants, bitch, right? It's one of those things where that's also that part of the conversation where some people are uncomfortable with her branding. It's what got the attention. It what got people attracted to her brand.
Mhm.
And is that part of the issue, the reason why it was so easy to run her out of there? Who knows? But as you saw, it was 6, 7, 8 locations here in the Atlanta market. She's from
Yep.
Baltimore, and now she's finally going to Baltimore. She's at the Atlanta Braves Stadium. I want to say she might be look on there on her locations again. If she's not in the airport, she'll be there soon. Um,
Actually,
yeah, that's her losing the Spellman thing. That was, yeah, that doesn't, you don't want that type of stuff to happen, but it is what it is. It's not a college. But what's also not on that campus, there's places you just talked about. Five Guys is not on that campus.
oh,
Shake Shack and
Shake
these
Shack.
places are not on that campus. Those are places where you and your buddies got to get in the car and pile up like old college kids and say, this Friday night we're going to Shake
Shake
Shack or
Shack.
Slutty Vegan or going out to eat. And that's what Slutty Vegan is. It is a going out to eat spot. It's not an everyday spot.
I think the bigger conversation, the fact that eating out now it is starting to turn into like a real luxury for people. It used to be every Friday night you could take your family to go to a Chili's, to go to a regular family spot and eat well. Those
Mhm.
days right now, it's just not happening.
Well,
It,
is
it's
it
it's just
because
not.
you can't you these places are jam packed. They're jam packed, man. I don't know about you. We're in Orlando, but in Atlanta, you still got to go get reservations to go to a lot of these places. And there used to be a time where there was a
Longhorn?
difference. Yeah, we went to Longhorn on Friday, and that place was packed. You
You didn't have
know,
a reservation, or you had to get on the wait list. There's a
Well,
difference.
you can get a reservation, but we got in there, and 20 minutes after we got there was people waiting 40 minutes to get tables. People are eating
Um,
out. Matter of fact, they just opened up. It's funny you brought that up because over here in Georgia, where we are, they just opened up a Raising Cane's. I don't know if they got Raising Cane's down there where you are.
they do. This is just very few of them, but they have
Okay,
them
so
here.
they just opened up the first Raising Cane's here in McDonough. It was insane.
Yeah.
Traffic backed up. They had to get police to direct traffic, everything for us to get two Longhorns for dinner the other night. And so you remember there used to be a time where there was a difference between the Chick-fil-A's and the Applebee's and the Chili's. The
Yeah.
Applebee's and the Chili's are saying, hey, 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 you can get a $10 burger from us. Come on over here and
Yeah.
sit down and come in our restaurant instead of going to the quick eat places. It's
And
it's it's it's
I think I told you this. Me and Omar made the horrible mistake of doing high-end fine dining on my birthday Friday night.
mhm.
And then on Saturday night, we took our kids to Longhorn. And it was awful. Longhorn was awful. They don't really give a damn about their customers right now at any of these restaurants. They're really just trying to get as many people in and out as possible. They're
Mhm.
trying to get to spend money, and that's it. We had a horrible experience. And comparing that to fine dining the night before,
Yeah,
true
no,
enough,
but the fine dining
people
you probably spent at least for the two of y'all, they probably spent $200 on dinner.
spend
So
$2.95.
exactly. Exactly. So we're at that place where if you really want that experience, right? You want that experience, it's an electric bill in one night.
It was
Yeah,
delicious.
but yeah. But
And
it was
wait,
an
that's not
electric
even
bill in one
counting the
night.
babysitter that we had to hire, Nanny Alexis, also known as intern Alexis. So if we count that in, we spent over $300. But it was still a better experience than going to the Longhorn, where they were just like, Here's your slop. Eat it and get out.
Well, so that's what you pay for. Before we get up out of here, there's a situation going on with Drizzy Drake. That also is going on. The sister here has
your record label, because when things go left, it's like fighting with your best friend who knows all your deepest and darkest secrets. And UMG, yeah, they brought out all the receipts. So right out the gate on page 1, UMG goes for the jugular. They went straight for the throat. They start by reminding Drake that you are one of the most
what happened?
successful recording artists of all time, and you lost a rap battle that you yourself provoked and willingly participated in. But instead of taking the L, like the unbothered rap star that you proclaim yourself to be, you turned around and sued your own label in what they call a misguided attempt to solve his wounds. They started on level 10 and it only went up from there, because let's be honest, like, that's exactly what everybody has been saying. Like, streets have been saying the whole time that Drake, instead of just taking the L, he filed this lawsuit, which makes him look even cornier.
You can continue to watch this on your own time. This is the Luncheon Lawyer. She's a creator. And so she brought all the smoke for whatever 2 or 3 minutes that she brought that. All right, anything else in your mind before we get up out of here?
No, I'm going to bed.
Yeah, me too. I didn't find something to eat. Peace.